Alright, so it's gonna be another long form video today. We're in the car once again, just parked, chilling. And today, the video I want to make is personal. These longer videos tend to be. But yeah, it's gonna be just about my recent relationship with my family and kind of what's been going on. So anyway, the story starts essentially, I mean, of course, there's like all kinds of pre-context and stuff, but I'm going to start it off in the beginning of June, when my grandfather had a stroke. So this was not good. He, we had to take him to the hospital, and then he was in a rehab facility. He was in the hospital for like a couple of weeks, and he's been in one rehab facility, for a long time. Most of the summer I went to college, and he went to the hospital for a couple of days and then went to a new rehab facility, and now we're kind of looking at him returning back to his home. So I'm going to go kind of through most of the story and kind of tell how my relationship with my family has been impacted as a result of this story and kind of where I am at mentally. So for context, this is over the summer, so I live with my mom. I have no siblings, and it's just my mom. So she's the only child of my grandparents, and I'm the only grandson of my grandparents. So we have a very small family, and my mom is a really serious caretaker. Like, that's what she's all about. So she wants to help them a lot. And of course, since she's the only daughter or the only child, there's a lot of responsibilities on her. Anyway, yeah, so basically, soon as, obviously the beginning, of course, we're all there, in the hospital and whatnot, helping, it's the beginning, but yeah, quickly, my mom wants to be there all the time, even at the hospital for a couple of weeks, and then at the rehab, she's just there constantly. She quit her job essentially, to basically take care of my grandpa in these rehab facilities. Yeah, so it's not like there's no one taking care of him if she weren't there, because they're rehab facilities and there's people watching over them. And the real issue is that these rehab facilities are hard to trust because they don't always do everything, to the maximum benefit of my grandfather. And that's because, in my opinion, they're just seriously understaffed and underpaid, the people who work there. So, of course, they're just not really very incentivized to give the best treatment to the patients. And then, as a result, and then they're also just kind of lazy sometimes. Not that I'm blaming them though, because like I said, they're underpaid and they're overworked, and it's a really hard job. And it's also doing stuff that isn't too much fun, like changing someone's diaper for the 5th time in a day is not really a fun thing to do. So I can understand, but at the same time, from my mom's perspective and from our perspective as a whole, these things need to get done. It's not good for my grandpa to be sitting in his poop for an extended period of time. So basically, as a result, my mom wants to always be there herself to enforce that these things get done. But that's a lot of stress, because you have to basically argue with the staff of the facility constantly to change diaper, for example, or just get him to physical therapy, or really any of these things. It's just always an argument, and it's put a lot of stress on my mom. And over the summer, I was working a full-time job over the summer, and then I was also trying to go to the gym consistently and also be there for my grandpa a lot. I was probably, a typical day for me over the summer, a work day would be this. I'd go to work from 7 to around 2:30. Then I would like every few days, yeah, like half of the time I'd go to the gym for like an hour and 15 minutes or so after work, and then I'd go to the rehab, um and basically, yeah, try to like enforce these things and make sure that his diaper's getting changed, all the proper things are happening. Go home, rest a bit, and then go back to the rehab later in the evening to basically make sure that he's ready for bed. And the tricky part with getting him ready for bed is that he's always super uncomfortable. So, like, you can never really leave. Like, every time you say, all right, I'm going to leave, he'll just ask for one other thing, and just, it'll keep going in that cycle for, like, literally, like, you'll say you're going to leave, and he won't stop asking you for things until, like, 45 minutes later. So, and at the time, I, just basically did everything that he wanted me to do. You know, so anyway, as a result of doing this for the whole summer, yeah, I mean, I became very stressed out. My mom was very stressed out, because we were working hard, I mean, my mom was at the rehab for like 10 hours a day. Not really fun. I mean, neither of us had personal lives. I didn't really, I mean, I hung out with friends like maybe like, 7, 8 times over the summer total. You know, and like, like a couple days of the week I'd relax a little bit, but for like a few hours, but I mean, I literally visited my grandpa every single day, basically the entire summer since he had the stroke. So, I was consistent, and so was my mom. Anyway, so the point being is, and why I'm making this video, is that I've had kind of a mindset shift. So basically, yeah, like during the summer, I ended up becoming kind of like resentful of helping out my grandfather, which is like really, it makes, like, I don't want to say that because I love my grandpa. So why do I not want to like help him? And it's just because it's really tiring to do so. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. It's not like I don't want to help him at all. It's just that once you get to a certain point, it's like it's too exhausting. So and the thing is, you can push through that for quite a while. I pushed through it for the whole summer. And I could still push through it now. But the mindset shift is that, like, yeah, like, it's also important to establish your own boundaries. So, and also, yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, I don't have any organization for this video, so I'm just kind of yapping about different kind of interrelated subjects. But yeah, it kind of like part of this is just what the expectations are from my mom. My mom has a very specific way of wanting to take care of my grandpa. She thinks certain, like, not really procedures, but like just the way of handling things should be a certain way. And just basically she'll expect that I conform to wanting to do it the same way. So she'll just expect that I'm, like, A, willing to help out my grandfather, and then B, that when I do it in the exact way that she wants me to, which now I'm realizing after the summer's been over that, yeah, that's not necessarily the most fair thing, because, basically there's like an expectation she's placing on me to like be helping my grandfather, which is time out of my life. I could be spending it doing other things, and I want to be helping my grandfather, but my point being is that when I at the end of the day, the bottom line is that I am taking time out of my life to help my grandfather. It is a choice that I'm making. It's not like anyone's actively forcing me to do it. So as a result, I'm basically helping out, and therefore I should have some level of control of like how specifically I do help out. Meaning I should be able to make some decisions as to, the way that I give care to my grandfather, as opposed to just, doing it exactly how my mom wants me to. because I'm ultimately taking time out of my life to do it. So I shouldn't just be obligated to do it in a certain way, because I'm not obligated to help out past a certain point. I mean, yeah, this is like a nuanced topic, but at least that's kind of like the new mentality that I have. For example, over the summer, like, I wanted to make sure before I headed off to college that my grandparents' house was like ready for my grandpa to move back into when he was gonna leave the rehab. And that required cleaning it out because it's super messy. And he'd have to be basically, he's gonna have to have like a hospital bed in their living room, which, based on the current like furniture and just overall clutteredness of their house, it wasn't feasible. So I had to clean it out. So I told my mom, listen, I'm going to be in control of this process. And my mom, you know, of course, like, wanted me to clean the house out and get it ready. But at the same time, she didn't really want me to have control over the process. So she wanted to basically, like, have a say in any decision that was made in terms of things that were getting thrown out, and stuff like that. Now, I can understand why she would want some amount of say, because obviously, like, I shouldn't just be acting totally, you know, like, as a single entity, without consulting her at all, because it is, a family decision what kind of things get thrown out and just how the overall cleaning process happens. But at the same time, I'm offering to do this, so it's not really my obligation to do it exactly how you want me to do it. I should have a decent level of authority as to how I go about cleaning out the house, because not only does that lower my stress, because I feel like, okay, I can just take charge and do it and feel like I have the freedom to do it in the best way that I see fit, which is ultimately the easiest way for me, as opposed to trying to conform to some rules that I think aren't really so easy. But also, it allows my mom, in my opinion, it should allow my mom to also be less stressed, because now she just doesn't have to have the house on her mind, cleaning it out. Like, just totally relinquishing control and just letting me take over, could be relaxing for her in my eyes. Obviously, I realize that's not always the case, because it's challenging to relinquish control. But I'm realizing that, like, yeah, maybe she needs to. Maybe she, like, has a really hard time relinquishing control in general in life, and overall tries to kind of micromanage every situation, which, she's a very stressed out person, and I think that kind of mentality of always wanting to control everything really doesn't help the stress, because now every single thing is a decision you have to make, and she like delays decision making as much as possible and makes it a super long process, and then doesn't even make, like, maybe makes the right decision, but she always kind of ends up regretting it anyway. So she spends a ton of time making the decisions, and then it just causes a lot of stress. Anyway, these are just some observations I'm making about my mom. I love my mom a ton, but I'm just realizing that, like, yeah, now that I am 19, I may need to be a little bit more independent and demand that I have, because, I mean, if she's expecting me to do all these, like, adult things to help out, I should at least have fairly equal say into the decisions that get made in terms of how the process actually happens. Because otherwise, it's really stressful for me, because I'm doing it in a way that I don't agree with, and then also, and basically that means that it's just harder, because usually I don't agree with it because it's like a less efficient way of getting things done, or it just seems downright stupid, and it's just stress inducing to feel like you have to do things a certain way that are less effective, just because someone's telling you to. Especially now, I'm realizing, when I'm literally the one offering to do it. If I didn't offer to do it, it just plain wouldn't happen. So it's kind of important that I have some level of autonomy in terms of how things get done. So yeah, and then in addition, I'm realizing that, like, yeah, I need to establish more boundaries with my mom, as opposed to, in relation to like what she can expect me to do. Because like as it kind of had stood, there was like an expectation that I would just do all these things to help out, and like I just like the assumption was just, oh yeah, I have to do them. Like I have to spend a certain amount of time visiting my grandpa, and I'm not saying that I don't want to do that, but I'm just saying I'm kind of realizing now that it really probably should be striking me the wrong way, that like it's just plain like expected of me without even being asked. Like, and then I get a huge guilt trip if I don't do the things. I'm realizing that that is a little bit manipulative on my mom's part, which is basically what I'm saying is I'm perfectly fine helping out, but I feel like it should be more of a situation where like my mom comes to me and says, okay, it would be really, it would help me a lot if you could do this. And then I say, okay, yes, I can do this within my own, boundaries. But as opposed to just, okay, Matthew, you have to do all these things, and you have to do them exactly how I say. Which it's like, maybe I should have some level of boundaries as an adult as to what things I will actually do. And also, especially when it relates to how those things get done. Because if I am offering to do it, at least I should have some autonomy as to how they get done. Right now, I mean, I feel like it kind of just sounds like I'm shitting on my mom, which really isn't the case. I'm just kind of trying to articulate how I feel about things. I love my mom a lot, and it's a really gray, like, nuanced conversation because I want to still be helping out, but I also just don't want it to be, like, feeling like it's an expectation. And really, the whole reason this is all an issue is because it's just been so stressful. I'm realizing that, like, I need to make a serious lifestyle change as to just being more relaxed. Because I mean, like, even like just for your health, like having high cortisol levels are not really good. So I need to, and that's just been my reality for the last couple of years, just being stressed all the time, chronic stress. So I'm realizing, like, all right, you know what? I gotta just set some boundaries, and also, yeah, like, I don't want to be resentful towards helping my grandfather. So if it means I'm helping him less, but like I really enjoy doing it, then I feel like that's better than me just hating every second of it. So it's not really good for me to like give him an attitude when he asks for something. But that's the reality of what was happening when I was there for a longer amount of time than I wanted to be there. And like I understand, like sometimes you do have to push through when you don't want to be there, and you still are there. But I think there is kind of a gray area where there's a limit to that. And after some point, okay, you've pushed through enough. Now is time that you take for yourself and have a break, so you don't grow super resentful. And I feel like my mom was kind of expecting me to just do way more than like the amount that my mom was expecting me to would lead me just to resent doing it. And that's what ended up happening. So I resented it and became very stressed out. And part of what complicates this is that like my mom is really pushing through it. And she's really stressed out and she will not take any time for herself. And I'm starting to question whether that's actually a good thing. I think it comes down to like how much control is she willing to give up, because in reality there are processes that she can kind of just let the facility handle, and things for the most part will be fine. There are things she can cut out and it won't really have a big impact on how my grandpa's doing, but she still wants to micromanage every little step, and I think that's really increasing her stress level. So I'm trying to get her to like relinquish a little bit of control in that way, and just at least like have her own like well-being be a part of the conversation, and have some level of importance placed on it. But maybe I'm totally wrong about this. Maybe it is just me being selfish and me being lazy. That's kind of like my fear, but at the same time I am less stressed now. So I don't know, at least it's a mindset shift. I'm trying it out. Like I'm trying out this facial hair, just trying new things. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for listening if you watched this far. I doubt anyone did, but yeah, you know,